What is up? And good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. It is Thursday, March 6th, and continuation of downside momentum here on the overnight. Markets are taking a pretty big pullback spill on seemingly just continuation of selling, failure to make moves above the most recent highs, right? Multiple days in a row. And we're gapping down significantly yet again, right? Yesterday, there was some news out of the Canada US tariff talks, right? With the potential of some exemptions for automakers from the US, but also this there was a slight postponement for that exemption for the automakers, which brings about right a few other, I guess. It brings a conversation back to the table. We can say it brings a conversation back to the table for I guess more exemptions in terms of the U.S. and Canada tariffs. Canada wanted all the tariffs remove. The U.S. say, you know what, like this is what we're going to give you right now, and there's the possibilities of further exemptions down the road, which initially brought about a little more bullishness in the market, but still a lot of geopolitical and tail risk that's going on right now that's pulling things lower, the continuous unwind of big tech. And it seems like pretty much every day markets get sold off in the morning. See if there's a little rally on the overnight, into the afternoon, and then get sold off pre-market yet again and into the morning. So I'm not necessarily trying to be like, this is the bottom, this is it, but I think we are fairly close. It's just, you can't ignore the continuation of selling constantly over and over again every single day. Pretty much every rally gets excessively reoffered. These are things that cannot be ignored, and this kind of momentum that's happening on the intraday, this kind of order flow that's happening on the intraday, is very obvious that this is probably not the mass expansion to the downside before we start to see things turn around. Things aren't necessarily excuse me, extremely oversold just yet. You have breadth readings that aren't into the extremely oversold, while selling is continuously rampant in this market. You see big tech, yeah, it's made some shockwaves to the downside, some attempted bids. Some of these names are oversold, not all of them, but they're still trying to hold out. So I think we are within a few percent off these lows. Just going to take a lot more rebidding and less of getting offered immediately on the overnight or into the end of the day after the slightest little bid. There's some other news out of China. Chinese companies are continuing to make big strides in AI. We haven't heard that in a while, but Alibaba, right, and Chinese names as well are catching a pretty decent bid in lieu of all this stimulus talk and whatnot over the past few weeks here, right? We've seen a very expansive move on Baba after getting extremely oversold towards the end of last year after that news of a stimmy pop, and now we're seeing a very strong expansion. The thing's up nearly 100% from that point, which is impressive. But Baba is unveiling its latest reasoning model with few parameters than existing models, fewer parameters than existing models. Alibaba claims that the new model more or less matches the performance of DeepSeek's R1 breakthrough and OpenAI's cost-efficient 01 Mini. And Alibaba's new model called QWQ32B, I don't know how they come up with this shit, but was developed with 32B parameters, referring to the training data that enables the model to generate desired outputs. The company's Quen team evaluated the model across a range of benchmarks to assess its mathematical reasoning, coding, and general problem solving. The team claimed QWQ32B can achieve performance comparable to DeepSeek's R1, which boasts 671 billion parameters, and the launch sent the company's Hong Kong listed shares soaring 8.4% on Thursday, while its ADRs right now on Baba on the US exchange are up a few percentage points pre-market. The model excuse me. The new model comes as Alibaba announced a commitment to invest more than $52 billion in its cloud computing and AI infrastructure over the next 3 years, and this major investment would exceed the tech giant's total AI and cloud spending over the past decade. Another notable release from China is the new generated AI agent called Manus, which claims to outperform even OpenAI's deep research on some metrics when performing tasks. The launches this week follow Chinese government's pledge to step up support for emerging technologies such as AI and quantum computing, ensuring self-sufficiency, and these new developments indicate that China is gaining steam in the global AI race and showing no signs of slowing down. However, we haven't seen this thing make crazy earthquakes throughout the overall equity markets in the US like we initially saw with DeepSeek, so I think that kind of rumored news and whatnot is a bit past us right now. We have a lot of Fed speakers today. We had initial jobless claims this morning. We have Fed's Harker that's speaking right now, I believe. We have Fed's Waller later on at 3:30, and then we have Fed's Bostic tonight. So they're going to be later on. It's not going to disrupt a lot of the movement throughout the market, but we do have a decent amount of Fed speakers before tomorrow. We have the non-farm payrolls that come out pre-market. I think a lot of people are going to be watching that, and there's going to be a lot of market movement that's dependent on that as well. So let's take a look at this, right? Right now, downside momentum move in these equity markets, right? Same shit as yesterday getting disrupted. We got to move under 58.05, 58.10, just like we did yesterday pre-market. And that presented rallies to sell into. That was our thought process. We sell short under, or sorry, from 58.05, 58.10 as long as we remain under it. That was my only trade of yesterday. It was worth over 20 points on the S&P. And as long as we're below that area, I don't see a reason necessarily to buy. There's a lot of volume into this low currently here pre-market, but I'd rather acceptance aggressively above distributions higher to allow us that kind of momentum shift. Otherwise, how many times are we going to pretend to test this low without breaking it? Excuse me. Sorry. As the sell side keeps coming in at higher prices, it's ridiculous, the sellers are in control. We had a lot of positive delta into the highs at 58.50 on the overnight, multiple tests of thousands of lots getting offloaded. So there are your sellers. Pretty aggressive sell side momentum from the highs. We'll see if they can rally above that area, but that's the only reason for me to be long today. Otherwise, this momentum is still freaking bearish, right? It's bearish to the downside. They're not necessarily looking for rebids. Otherwise, they wouldn't have dunked this on the overnight like this. So until we get that momentum move higher, right, it's not really that long of a market for me, right? So let's see if we can get that move. Other than that, sell rallies, and we'll continue this kind of press to the downside, and we'll do this again tomorrow. I'll see you guys tomorrow to wrap up the week. I hope everyone has a fantastic end of the week. Take it slow, baby steps, watch what's going on. Markets are still volatile, and enjoy the